Hey guys, what's good, man? So, I want to talk about sus chords. I want to talk about sus chords. I want to give, just some extra reinforcement. I've talked about it before. It's not like something new, but I just think a little bit of clarity can be added, structure perhaps could be added, and I won't. I'll do some audio examples, but not really any charts this time. Okay. Now, maybe this is worth talking about and paid attention to so that you can understand what I'm saying. All right, so some of you know what a sus is. It is short for the word suspended. That's like another way to say hanging, kind of left hanging a little bit. So in music, primarily the first things that I think about, there are other sus type things that other than what I'm about to mention, but you mainly got the sus4 and sus2. All right. I'm mainly going to use sus4 as the example in this video, but let's say in the key of let's say G, right? So this is a G major. Typically, a sus4 would resolve to a regular major chord. So the sus4 resolves to the major chord. The sus4 means a suspended fourth. So if I were to count this scale, and I'm using a regular major scale, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the 4, right? If I were to play the octave of that 4 in this chord shape, so it's right here in this 5th fret, right? But if I were to play a major scale, a major chord, sorry, there's the major chord. And here's the 3rd right here, major 3rd. Here's the 4th. See how there's like a subtle tension there? So if you were to play it as a full chord, play the major chord as a reference. But if you were to flatten your pinky or whatever other finger you want to kind of use on the 5th fret, we're playing a G major, but on the 5th fret of the A, D, and G string, if you flatten your finger on that, bar the rest of it on the 3rd fret, you get this sound. So typically songs don't just do that the whole time. Now there are songs with undercurrents of sus drones or like auxiliary pads. You hear that as an undercurrent, as like an undertone underneath the whole song. But it's typically not the whole entire song as the main driving chord. It's typically, now if they do, for whatever reason, they're doing some sort of a creative thing with it, and no one's slapping another person in the face for playing the sus4 chord the entire song. No one cares. If it works and it sounds good, then cool. But I'm just saying, as an example, that's typically what a sus4 would be used. And sometimes songs end with that sus4, where the intention is in your mind to go there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, a sus4 or just suspended. Now, in addition to the 4, there's also a suspended 2. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. 1, 2. So there's that 2 right there, right? So how do we incorporate that into a major chord though? Well, if you were to play the octave, there it is right here. So you can stretch your fingers over here and go, you know what I'm saying? Like, or you can play here. You can play it there too. So that has sort of a subtle tension as well. I typically play sus2 chords over a major chord situation, and it actually sounds less intrusive in my opinion. Like you could use it to hammer on in a lot of situations. So you hear that with banjos and stuff like that. But at the same time, if you hear this, like, but the same thing is true as far as the resolve. You know, it's a little expected for it to resolve back on that major chord. But I find that the sus2 is sometimes ringing out loud just as in this case, a G sus2. You know what I'm saying? If you were to play the G up here, so if you were to resolve it, but it sounds pretty cool in my opinion. Here's the sus4. You see how that movement happens? I think that's pretty cool. So if you're knowledgeable of what a sus4 can do, a regular major chord is the resolve. That's like the main hinge in a sense. And you got the sus2. Well, you can do some different things with that. Okay. Some composers use a sus4 within the key. Sometimes they deviate outside the key and still use a sus4 of a different key, but they use it creatively. Okay. An example that I would like to use, and there's a reason that I'm actually wanting to use this particular song, is because I feel like they use the sus4 creatively, and it actually goes outside the key in terms of tonality and chord structure. Nothing but major and minor chords and this sus4 chord to another major chord. But anyway, Crazy by Gnarles, Barkley. So some of y'all have noticed like why does that song knock so, like, it's very transy in a sense. It feels a little floaty. It's very consistent. There's not a lot of there's not really like a bridge, but it almost sounds like the second verse could be a bridge, but it's really just the second verse. Okay, so there are like some changes with it. So let me actually go to this right here. So I'm gonna just play this right here. Now, the chord progression is actually, so this is like a mini lesson, but I'm gonna incorporate the sus4 into it. This song does not have a sus2 in it, so but I'm using it for the sus4 example. So here's the C minor. There's the E flat major. There's the A flat major. G sus4, G major. I remember. E flat major. A flat major. Baby, I'm crazy. So So it does that throughout the chorus, and that's it. Now it does an interesting thing at the top of the second verse, which is different from the first verse. They kind of switch around the chords a little bit. Instead of the C minor, they play a C major. Then it goes to the A flat major. Then the E flat major. So it kind of switches it around. But it ends with the same thing. Okay? So I just wanted to point that out. That's how that actually is used. Now, if you're playing the track without vocals, all there is the bass line. There are no melodic elements other than the strings that are being played. I have that muted. But because this bass line kind of stays consistent, they're able to modify the actual chord structure with the vocals. Okay, so and the vocals are actually forming all the harmonies. Okay, so that's where the magic is actually happening, is in the vocal arena. And I'm just making sure I'm not like overstepping any copyright stuff right now. But yeah, but on that C minor, that part, or the part when you say maybe I'm crazy, that part, the background vocals are shaped around that minor sound. But when it goes to the top of the second verse, you hear the oohs in the background. You know what I'm saying? It's doing that. So it's just important to see that. But I wonder how would it be if this major chord, the C major, if they would have played a sus4 on that C major and kind of walked it over. So right here. I wonder what would happen if they would have did that. Let's go back. 3, 4. You know what I'm saying? That melody still works. That's E flat major. Then back to C minor. Then it does the regular chord progression. E flat. Then it goes back to the G sus 4. Maybe I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it does that. But anyhow, so I just wanted to bring that up. So pretty much a lot of places that you see a major chord, depending on where it is, you could sort of throw in a sus4 or sus2 for the sake of movement. Okay? It's not even that you are really wanting to play a sus4 chord. It's that you want to incorporate movement over the major chord. So this gets boring. But this is different. You know what I'm saying? That's all that is. It's a way to incorporate movement. You know, different chord shapes and chord harmonies. The variations of a particular chord is really just so that you can move around and not be stuck on the chord. So after you learn a major chord, learn how to move it. Learn how to move the tones and the notes without moving the chord. So the example is, if you are, again, if you're playing that E flat, the idea is you're staying on the E flat. But what are you doing with all the accompanying tones? You gonna do that? You know what I'm saying? You gonna do this? Change to a minor, back to a major, sus2, 11 chord, what you gonna do? So it's like, they're all different possibilities, all different types of possibilities, but this video is just making reference to the actual, what do you call it, the sus4. You know, I just really wanted to highlight that. As I mentioned before, hey, drop a super thanks, drop a gift, you know, with a, you know, a dollar amount, you know, $5, $7. Feel free to do it. You know, opportunity to give is always like a, you know, it's an etiquette, but sometimes people want to give and they don't know how to give. So just know that there are options underneath the YouTube video to where, you know, you might not want to subscribe monthly to my private community. You may not want to do that, and that's fine. But you might want to, you know, tip me. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, wow, thanks for that advice. You might want to share this video. You might want to drop a comment or whatever. But yeah, feel free to drop a super thanks, you know, if I, you know, premiere this or whatever, which I might actually do. And, you know, I can go to lunch with it. You know what I'm saying? Or I can, you know, invest it back into my business and back into my YouTube page and just make things better. You know, I can, if I get enough of those, you know, in addition to my ad revenue, I could actually put more time into it and I could make the videos better. I can spend more time, you know, doing it or whatever. So all of that matters. So, but share if you would like, subscribe if you would like to. Only subscribe if you would like to. Okay. Now my analytics shows me that there are 75% of people who watch my videos and you're not subscribed. Imagine if that if 70% or if even 60% of y'all actually subscribe. That would be cool. I know y'all be hearing Diary of CEO say that 85% people watch that channel and they not subscribed. Like, subscribe to that channel, man. If you like it, subscribe to it. You know, just, you know, if you want to turn the notifications off, turn it off. But it's nice to be notified. But as far as this channel, back over here. Most definitely subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button. If you don't want to be bothered, just turn off the notification. You know, if you want to be reminded, leave the notification bell on, you know. So that's that, you know. A lot of us content creators, we're sharing a wealth of knowledge, you know, about things that we know, and we're wanting to bring you quality. Okay, so these are just ways that can actually happen, like on a good level. All right. So there's nothing wrong with making that exchange, and you don't want things to be one way where you're being poured into and you're not actually doing something back to it to actually complete the transaction, which actually blesses you. So thank you so much for watching. And I think I'll do one more video in reference to the major minor chords, but I'm out of here today. So, you know, do this right here, do that, the little swirlies. Let's run it back. Let's go. All right, y'all. I'm being silly. All right.